Hello, Goddess, and welcome to this week's Thankful to Thrive Thursday. My name is Rochelle, and you are here at Empowerment Experiences, where we are looking for and finding our power all along this, which is our healing twin flames self-love empowerment journey, right? Because a twin flame journey is most definitely a self-love empowerment journey on steroids, and I have very much come to learn that you might think you're thriving before you meet your counterpart, especially if you weren't really aware of the concept, only to meet them and be cracked all the way open and have aspects of yourself that you thought you could hide from. Especially the realization that you weren't thriving, that you had deeper healing to go, and aspects of yourself that you were hiding from yourself. And those facades, those masks that we wear over those facets of ourselves, that is when we are giving our power away. Anytime you wear a mask, and this isn't just hypothetical or figurative, it's also literal in this world right now, but you wear a mask, you're hiding, you're living in fear. It's that simple, and that's not thriving. And I know for me, it's been exceptionally challenging all of a sudden lately. A lot of deep stuff coming up, feeling in a space that I haven't quite felt in a long time. However, that is very much what is happening right now, is in order for us to ascend to this next level, to reiterate what's been happening this past week or two and why it feels the way it is, why it seems like what is going on when you have old version lessons of self, right? Old version of self lessons that are coming back up. You're revisiting them. People may be coming into your life that you're like, whoa, I haven't heard from this person and then you realize where you were when you were involved with that individual, and you're able to see how far you've come. And the question is, are you going to slip back into that pattern, or are you going to acknowledge that you have learned and thus integrated that pattern by implementing the change in this moment? Whether that's the change of, personal boundaries, discernment. Excuse me, it's been so dry. I've been getting this scratchy throat like crazy. I just cannot drink enough water, it seems. Okay, water, there we go. But that is very much what is happening. I even have right now, that just popped up yesterday, my hand eczema, and I have not had my hand eczema for years. And even when I did for a while, it would just be a little bit on, of course, what fingers? My middle fingers, of course, a big fat fuck you, right? There is no such thing as coincidence. I just caught 333 as I was saying that on my ticker here. Wow. There's no such thing as coincidence. Right now, with where I am in, I know my experience, it's reiterating, of course, facets in my life where I felt powerless, times in my life where I was feeling powerless, and the physical manifestation of hand eczema is feeling useless, is feeling powerless, like you have no power, you can't do anything. You are incapable, your hand. And this takes me back to a time where I had to wear latex gloves just to shower because it was so horrible. And hand eczema is different from body eczema. It's an excess of moisture. So you get water blisters, and it can be itchy and irritated, and it'll look like your skin is eating itself. It was intense, insane, but really, truly, again, it's important to know what that underlying message is, what the meaning is. Even yesterday, again, the shifting into thriving here, there's a reason why I share these stories with you. Yesterday, I was driving over to hang out with a goddess that I'd recently met at an event I went to locally here, hanging out. She's a fellow healer and such. She's, oh my gosh, just incredibly talented at music. She played and I zoned. I'm just like, you can keep playing. This is stunning. However, on my way to her house last night for the first time, I was divinely led. There was a message, because again, been feeling powerless, been feeling extremely discouraged in my own journey, which again is just that revisit to the version of self when she was absolutely powerless, right? So it's these layers, peeling these layers, revisiting and going, yep, nope, put the final nail in that puppy, it's done. Let's put the finishing touches, let's dust it off and go, yep, shine it up and go, yep, it's ready, right? That lesson integrated, fully learned. So this is, again, where we are coming back around to this. And that means, again, there's going to be parts of you where you're just like, wait a minute, I feel absolutely, utterly helpless here. I feel hopeless. I feel powerless here. And it's because, again, you are being given kind of like that, again, like how school is, right? Where you're given tests throughout the semester and then you have a final, right? So this is kind of like that final exam. And so it's going to be all the shit, all rolled into one thing, right? And so yesterday, as I was going to her house, and again, just doing my best to detach and things with the chaos happening in the world and that are interfering in living our lives. And I ended up taking an exit because I see a notice on the freeway that an upcoming exit, the streets were blocked, and I did not want to sit on the freeway. I didn't feel like doing that. So I just, in a hurried fashion, interestingly enough, hurried over and off, and there was just 717 just now, hurried off and just got off that exit there, not realizing that I could have easily gone at least another exit before I got off, but I just got off at this. As I'm coming up on the exit ramp, clearly construction. The street I just happened to exit down was under such construction, it was down to one lane and it was a line of traffic. And I went, lovely, right? So in that moment, it's going, okay, what is this? What is the message here? What is this teaching me, right? It is first and foremost, one, patience. Number two, the message that I was actually hearing from the universe is we're working on it. I mean, I'm in a construction zone, and if anybody who lives in Arizona, especially the Phoenix Valley, these yahoos will have construction going forever. Like it just seems to never end. All right, it's just always a mess, always a disaster, and it's that whole, again, asking, what is this? What are you telling me here? And it was such a simple, easy message to interpret, to hear, to receive of, we're working on it. Just be patient. Just cruise. Just coast. In fact, not even cruise, you're just coasting. You're right? You barely put on the gas, because the best way to get through a construction zone isn't gas, brake. That's stop, go. That's very bumpy. It's very exhausting, It's very exhausting. And it's not so good on the vehicle. I mean, take for instance, you being the vehicle, right? The stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. Instead, and I learned this being in rush hour. I mean, I'm from the sticks of Kansas. I did not grow up in rush hour traffic, and we had it in Kansas City, but not like we do out here in Phoenix. And I learned years and years ago, being out here in the Phoenix Valley, the best way to coast through traffic, through rush hour traffic, is to put on your jams, create your temperature environment that you want, and just kind of lean back a little bit and put that one hand on the wheel, and you're coasting. Like, don't be up in that aggressive, I gotta do this, position matters. And so everything about this construction experience last night is pointing to, okay, you're going into this thriving space, but you've got to coast a minute while this construction's underway. Don't be stop start, because you're not going to thrive. You're going to deplete your energies very quickly. Because this is about this rising and thriving, this journey of ascension, where you are claiming your power, and you're able to actually maintain and sustain a certain energetic frequency, a certain vibration. And that is the purpose of clearing away all this extra heavy stuff. Like, again, I'm just like, what? And again, it's stirring up some shit. I'm not going to pretend it's not. So that said, Goddess, right now, again, for this Thankful to Thrive Thursday, and there's 11/11, which we've been having all week. It's that space of pointing out for you that the universe is working on it, right? We get so impatient. We get impatient with ourselves. We've often overlook that it is a process, that you're not going to fix a 2-mile freaking stretch overnight, although we wish they could, right? You're not. It's going to, and then this is exactly what we're going and growing through, Goddess, is the construction phase. This is where we are, where we're pulling up the old, we're peeling away the old, and we're building the new. We're laying the new foundation. We're building upon that new foundation, right? And so it was just so mind-blowing last night that I end up, of all these exits, I knew obviously what street I was, but I hadn't been on this street in a minute. And like I said, down to 1 lane traffic. Because right now, that's kind of where we are in this shift. Again, there's the unraveling, the dismantling, right? The deconstructing of the old that is crumbling, that is no longer sustainable, while at the same time working to build the new in its place. And that's why it feels as though you are in a construction zone of life. And I'm sure for all of us drivers here, especially in America, I'm not sure how in other countries. I have been to India, and I can definitely say it's the same kind of thing about the construction zone there, is that we've all probably been in one, right? So we can definitely tap into that space and go, So that said, Goddess, let's find out, in the midst of all of this crazy, chaotic construction zone, where, what exactly, where is our power right now? Because aside from the patience, of course, hearing that, they're working on it, we're working on it, it's under construction, it's in the process of being created, right? So, wow, we have quite a shuffle going today here. Oh, wow. Holy moly there. Well, this was the top one, and I'm already knowing trust. You've got to be trusting the journey in order to get into the flow of it, right? Trust the journey. get in the flow, because you are in the midst of a rebirth. And especially when, again, you're in this construction zone, right? This is this cocoon, this being recreated, being rebirthed, just like, oh, I love when all these things just, wow, right? So trust the journey more, okay? The more, and it's okay as well, because what we often do is we want to resist, we want to push away our lower vibrational feelings, we want to suppress them. Well, imagine what you're actually doing is you are suppressing that toxicity into your body. You're keeping that in your vessel instead of expressing it out of it. Okay, so right now, while, again, in a construction zone, you're going to be late or whatever it is, apply that to your life and start to go, but wait a minute, I don't have power over this. And by my getting so upset and staying in this space, I'm hurting myself. It's one thing to release that frustration, release that anger in a healthy way, and then move past it. Even this morning, I have to admit, it's a Wednesday morning and that I'm recording this, Thankful to Thrive Thursday. I usually do it on Tuesdays. However, again, with last night and how it went yesterday, but even this morning, I had a morning of, had to process through some frustration and anger right now. Again, part of this related to this construction zone, right? It's taking too long, it's frustrating, it's confusing. I mean, at one point last night, it was confusing because once in a while you'll hit such a convoluted with so many orange cones and divisions and where it looks like one lane isn't the lane and that's how, and I even caught myself, I had to do a swerve going because the turning lane really seemed like it was going right into oncoming traffic. And I'm like, that can't be right. However, it was right. But I almost, was like, it made me hesitate. It made me flinch. That's the word. That's more the word I'm looking for, right? I didn't just go, oh, that's the arrow, just because it may appear, right, that it's going into oncoming traffic. I'm actually not, because I'm going to be turning. So again, trusting the journey, trusting that if it tells you to turn, if it tells you this is the turning lane, turn, right? And the same message for where we are on this journey. To really be thriving, it is about trusting the journey. And I know, because I have spoken with other goddesses recently where we are processing a lot of I had these visions universe, and then this happened, especially with the whole world travel thing. I had this vision, and then all of a sudden you took it away. You said, I can't have that. Based on what nonsense is underway in the world. Well, all of that is because in order to truly take flight, and I say that as Jay Nixon, maybe that's his name. Found him at an art show, and I had to have that painting, but my Pegasus there, to take flight, you have to release, you have to let go of the extra weight. Right? In order to lay new pavement, you have to rip up the old, or else the new is going to be grossly subpar, grossly unstable. And so that is exactly what is happening right now with this journey. Why this whole construction theme is coming through right now of they're working on it. Whatever they or whoever they is in your realm, they being, source, the universe, your higher self, the angels, your spirit guides, your divine masculine, all of it, they're working on it. Whatever they is to you in your context right now, they're working on it. So have patience, trust that everything is working out. Focus on what you can be doing to be cultivating a better feeling state of being, right? So you can get into the flow more, because right now you don't have power over what the construction itself is. You only have power over the vehicle, which is you, what you're driving, and you are driving you. So right now, where your attention needs to be spent is on you. Put your vision on pause, put all of these things, stop. When you have any momentum that contradicts the vision that you have, saying that you can't have it, you can't have it, you can't have it, and because right now, believe me, sister, I have plenty of that coming up with the world status going right now. You know, you can't have that. My mean girl likes to have a column A and a column B, the allowed column and the banned column. I'm like, really? Why do we have to play this game? Excuse me, right? However, all of that is processing through the layers, processing through the lack of power that I have endured in my life, right? That's what is happening right now as we're coming back to, again, we're closing these timelines. Some of the shit that has happened in my life and in soul sisters' lives lately, excuse me, see, scratchy. But these things that have been happening in our lives, we are even talking about how, wow, this is like 20-something version self, like talking 20 years ago. Feeling completely out of body, but that's what this rebirth is. And that's why it is very important for right now to be listening to that intuition. To be listening to, again, wow, what is this telling me? That's exactly what I asked, because of course, my old self wanted to take over and go, oh my gosh, I'm running late. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to hang out. There's no like time. Let her know I ended up getting in construction. I'll be there when I get there. It's all on divine timing. So noted, that's done. Not getting all stressed out and oh my gosh, you know. So that got taken care of, right? Listening to the intuition and asking, what is the message here? That I end up just all of a sudden in a somewhat state of panic, but not panic, but more urgency, that I needed to take that exit. And it was definitely a mile or two, an exit or two before what I could have gone, because there was still moving traffic. But my intuition had a message. My higher self had a message. My spirit guides had a message. My angels had a message. They all had a message. Baby girl, we're working on it. Be patient. We're not saying that you give up on your dream. We're not saying that you can't have it. We're just saying, don't look over there right now. Focus on your car. Focus on just staying in the guided space. Ooh, that's good. The guided space that's being offered by the cones, right? All these hazard cones as you're driving, because you're in uncharted territory. You're in a space where there are no lines, right? It's new, right? Just like what happens when, if you have ever driven on roads that are freshly paved with no lines yet, it can feel disorienting is the word that comes to mind, right? It can feel very disorienting. And so this is exactly why right now, trusting that journey, because you are feeling disoriented right now. I know I am. In terms of my vision and what I have and what's going on, I am. And so I know what I need to do. That is to get off the fucking subject and focus on where my power is rather than where it is not. Because when we're focusing on where our power is not, trying to control things we cannot control, we're blocking the flow. We are not trusting, which means we're blocking the flow. We are making this rebirth excruciating. Now, I know a lot of women in my life, and I can very clearly see the difference in a lot of their labors, in their experiences of childbirth. And the ones who were more relaxed and embracing and trusting of the journey, I'm like my love bug. Her mom says it was one of those things where I barely put my legs up and boom, she was out. It was so, she's like, I barely felt it. She just slipped right out. I'm like, oh, wow. But she had been on that path of with ease and flow, with ease and flow. And so that's exactly how it happened. She trusted, and so it flowed. And then I've heard of women who have been in labor for 30 hours because they were in fear, they were resistant, they were, oh my God, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? And it's, even when we ask those questions, I even just got led to make a video on that. Just yesterday, a goddess was asking, I just want to know if I'm doing it right. And that's one of the most detrimental things to do to ourselves, is to be judging ourselves. Am I doing it wrong? Am I doing it right? Rather than just trusting that where you are is where you're supposed to be and going with the flow and knowing that you are an evolutionary being. So you are constantly undergoing mini rebirths, going, oh yeah, I don't like that version. I don't like that aspect of myself. I don't like that habit. So I'm going to change, right? That's a little mini rebirth. That's a transformation, right? And you listen to that, into the intuitive guidance for those things. Trust your journey, goddess. Oh, wow. That was, I'm not even, I don't know about you, but I certainly needed to hear all of that. The analogy for the construction. I sure feel better, like I said, after this morning, having to break down to break through some shit. I feel like a very different person in this moment, but this is why, because I question sometimes doing my readings, and there are times when I know that I'm like, no, definitely not in this energy. However, there are other times when I'm like, no, I'm knowing this is what's going to pull me back into my space, where I am truly empowered and I feel amazing, and because I fucking love doing this. I love what I do. I love being a conduit, this sort of things, even as I am processing through that, the God factor of growing up being taught that God was vengeful and wrathful and basically an abusive parent. That was what I was taught. And so it's been challenging. Of course, you know, the detriments of religion. However, here I am in this space, you know, doing what I do, intuitive, trusting that aspect of myself most of the time, because again, when we are in that healing space, when we're in the trauma, in the wound, right, we tend to say that I don't believe, I don't trust, I don't feel loved. But that's when we hold that space for ourselves. And when we come out of that, we realize that that's part of the journey, and that no matter what, in fact, all of a sudden the footprints story, you know, it's basically that, you know, the universe, source, whatever, your angels, whatever story, but that story you want to use, that you are being so loved and so held and so cared for during those times, and all times. So how are you being called to step up and lead in your life? This has been coming up so much, goddess, about you stepping into that goddess self, this rebirth. Who is she? How does she show up? And then you must show up as that. If the version of yourself you want to step into is confident, is well-spoken, is eloquent, then show up confident. She's happy, then show up happy. Cultivate happiness within you. You have to be the one to be cultivating that in yourself. And I assure you, as a leader herself, yours truly, that it is leading by example. And this is why I do my best to share as much of my journey as possible. Even in times when I'm not quite sure what the fuck is going on. It's in those times, though, that it's always coming back to the foundation of self-love empowerment. Because this twin flame journey, this whole, what am I talking about? This whole earth journey, all of it is, it's a trip. But if you are being the leader that you are looking for in your life, then I promise you, you're being the leader for others that have been looking for you too. You might not know that you are, but there are those that see you, Goddess. They see you. They admire you, they look up to you. They come to you. They see you. This has been the theme this week of stepping into that true goddess self, trusting yourself, getting into that flow, that rebirth, and trusting that intuition. Trusting that intuition, right? Because that is definitely a priestess. A goddess is one who trusts her intuition and just says yes to her intuition, says yes to where she's being guided. It might not make sense. It might seem so fucking absurd, and you're sitting there going, this is so irrational. In fact, right now, that's what my ego is trying to tell me, is that my whole idea of traveling the world and going to India was so irresponsible and so irrational, and so we don't want it now because we can't perceivably have it right now. They lied about lifting the suspension on our visas. Of course they did. It's all mind fuckery right now. It's all a psychological operation that's happening. It's underway in this world because it's the crumbling of the matrix, and it's trying to maintain its grip on the collective. However, we're breaking free of that. We're breaking free of this acquiescence of our power and recognizing the power within each of us as the sovereign beings that we are, all bestowed with free will, that nobody else can take that from you unless you give it. But then that's your free will to give your power away. So saying yes, I trust, I surrender, I say yes, is one of my favorite mantras, and I know I needed to be having that one come up for me again too. But I trust, I surrender, I say yes. And that's, again, a reiteration of that there from Tuesday or Sunday. I know we had yes card. We've been, again, in this, we tend to do that. There tends to be a theme, an ongoing messaging of the week that we're in the midst of. And this is definitely, again, I trust, I surrender, I say yes. You continuing to step into who you've come to be and the vision that you've come to create and contribute in this world. As we navigate through, again, this convoluted construction zone that is Earth right now. It really is. And of course, that being said, it's not just Earth, but it's also the twin flame journey, right? This construction, this deconstruction, reconstructing, new construction. And really, honestly, where I am with these cards right now is not so much a divine masculine message today. Just no. Not a divine masculine, goddess. Simply the energies, simply source, spirit, whatever you call it, higher self. That's what these cards are wanting to be for today. And that is prosperity for you, Prosperity for you, goddess. Prosperity by way of recognizing that abundance, that prosperity isn't just money. Just like abundance, right? Abundance doesn't just equate to money. And right now, this bee spirit, let's just see. I am definitely feeling to read this here. In the meadow, the flowers are heady with their sweet scents. Bees flit from flower to flower, their droning sounding like the combined chants of 1,000 monks. As you watch, you can sense their focus on productivity and working in community. The result of their industry is golden amber honey. And let me tell you, goddess, I have gotten so hooked on some local honey here. Mesquite honey. Oh, it's so from mesquite trees, okay? This card can be a wonderful sign that abundance and sweet energy is coming your way. It can also be a card of productivity and organization. So if you have been indecisive, disorganized, and unfocused, this card can mean that it's time to focus, reprioritize your life. And we actually had the focus card from the Divine Masculine in the Tuesday, the Twin Flame Tuesday, him asking you to focus on you. And that's exactly the message of the construction zone. Focus on your vehicle being your vessel. This is your spacesuit. This is your responsibility. And it's the only thing that you really truly can have power over in the respect of the stories that you're telling it. If you're believing that you're healthy or unhealthy, that's going to create the outcome, right? It's really learning that the placebo effect is a thing because it's a thing, because you won't actually be healed if you don't allow and facilitate the healing within yourself. So when we go to doctors and we expect them to heal us, it's because of the underlying belief that we hold that they can, or that whatever procedure they're going to do, any of those things, that it will. You see what I mean? You've got to be in the knowing of your health, of your well-being, in order for you to come back into union with your health and well-being. And the same thing with with your Divine Masculine, with any facet of your journey. You've got to embody that. You've got to know of that for yourself. And right now, again, in order to really be in that knowing, it is focusing on you, focusing on where your power is, on your vessel, on what you're taking in, what you are, what's being expressed on your body. Again, that's your responsibility. That's what you do have power over. To activate the prosperity you desire, this card can also signify that it's time to work hard. Be willing to put in time and energy, and your goals will be attained. Your efforts will pay off. Bees work together, so also consider whose energy aligns with yours and how you might collaborate to achieve your desires. By doing this, good fortune will ensue. This is another thing why I love working with my clients that I've had, and especially lately, after I reclarified and adjusted my sales and my business. And I love when I have clients that tell me that at first, before they sign up with me, they sign on with me to work with me. Oh my goodness, we always, so often, because of the money beliefs we have, so often we say, oh, I can't afford it, or oh my gosh, I'm worried about the money and I got to pay my bills and all these things. Yet we're basing that perspective off of our past. Who's to say that signing up to work with a coach isn't the thing for you to show the universe that I trust, I surrender, I say yes to abundance because I'm investing in myself? And then I end up having a client to say, oh my gosh, I work less but I make more because I raised my rates, thank you so much. All because I'm the one who insisted that she own her worth and raise her rates. And begin taking that action, putting in the hard work, creating those changes, facilitating those changes in her own life to get the results that she desires. And the key is looking at the things that you can change. It brings up the serenity prayer, right? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I have to read that again. I have to read that one again. But you know what I'm talking about, the serenity prayer, right? And if you know it, I'd love for you to drop it down below in the comments. That would be really helpful. But that's exactly it. Looking for where your power is. And right now your power, as I've said, is on focusing on your vehicle, right? While the construction is happening in the world around you, this construction zone we're in, it's happening around you. Focus on your car. Like, I know I need to clean my car. And we're talking literally, like my vehicle needs a bath, right? And then look at yourself and go, what tune-ups can you give yourself right now while you got the time, while you're just, you're in a construction zone. Technically, you can get up the way here and just pull off and go over there and just go ahead and pull into a mechanic right now. Just get your tune-ups done, focus on what tweaks that you want made. And I'm using the reference of your vehicle, but that vehicle being you. You are the vehicle in this realm. You, your body, your vessel, right? And it is your responsibility to take care of that. Nobody else's. That's the whole mind fuckery and manipulation of what's been underway for almost 2 years. Give your power away. I'm like, you don't see that, right? So it's having that courage, goddess. It's having that courage to stand in your own sovereign power of saying, no, I choose to take responsibility for my own health. And that includes being very aware of what I'm putting in my body. And if you're not going to give me the ingredients or the side effects of something, then I'm not going to put that in my body, especially when what you want to put into my body is for something that has a 99% recovery rate. Okay. Sure. Okay. Here's the thing. To be alive means you will die. Period. Just being alive means you could die at any time. You could stand up and have a stroke just like that. However, living your life, finding the courage to truly live your life, to trust your journey, to, even when you're in that construction zone space, to find the courage to keep pointing forward, to keep going through the construction zone, even though you don't know how long it's going to be. I remember taking road trips before where it would feel like miles. They had the freeway down to one lane. And we're doing 5 miles per hour, if that, on a road that's a 65 mile per hour road for miles going like that. And you get so impatient. You get so, you just want to throw in the towel. You just want to say, forget it, just pull off. You want to get angry or whatever it is. But instead, you breathe and you just go. You just keep going. And now I couldn't tell you where exactly that took place. However, I remember that specifically. It is time to find that courage to live your life, to keep going, to move beyond the construction zone, to trust that there is something there. And that right now, all you're being asked to do is focus on you. Not even perhaps the vision that you have, because you most likely have blocks pushing away what you desire. I'm telling you, when it's money, when it's anything, the moment I get off the subject of where's the money and, oh, I'm so broke, the moment I just get off the subject of money, money starts flowing in. This is what I'm telling you, goddess, get off the subject. It doesn't mean you don't want it, but find your courage to stop giving attention. Again, you're driving in the construction zones. How often do you end up going, oh my God, this is so ridiculous. I fucking hate this. I'm going to be late. And you're in it, right? You're in it. Instead of finding that courage to just say, okay, well, this is giving me a moment to catch my breath, and I'm gonna let go and trust that everything is just great and fine and hunky-dory, because it is. Just follow, find your brave to trust the journey. Trust the journey. Do we have any more from our sacred forest? Just simply from the goddess perspective of letting us know from source what it is we need. Acceptance. Acceptance of where you are. Acceptance of how far you've come. Acceptance that right now it is time to be patient. Acceptance of yourself. Acceptance of what your twin flame journey looks like, what the current state of the world looks like. Excuse me, dry. Right? Being in a state of acceptance, because acceptance equals flow. Resistance is the opposite of acceptance. Denial is resistance. So denial is your opposite of acceptance, but that's why I'm saying I went straight to resistance is the opposite of acceptance, because resistance, flow is flow. Resistance is denial. Acceptance is allowing, is flowing, right? And the more we push against something, like again, to bitch and complain about the construction, is just going to prolong your own suffering. It's going to prolong your experience in that construction zone. It's going to feel like it's going to go on forever. So again, it comes back to focusing on where your power is. And at this time, now I'm feeling the Divine Masculine may have a card for us. Something to say at this point. What does, right here, he have to say? You are his family. You are his family. You are his soul family. However, he is having to do a lot of work around his karmic family into which he was born, just like you. There's so much, and especially I know in my twin flame journey, we have a shit ton of ancestral crap, generational curses to close out, to heal in our ancestral timelines, right? And get clear on what family truly is, because we're creating this. The family dynamic has been destroyed by the Matrix. The whole separatist mentality. But bit by bit, we are coming together. Bit by bit, we are reuniting with Source, with who we truly are. The wolf has a smile on his face. Oh, what's this? A little alarm for who knows what. Me and my alarms. I gotta quit that. Because I usually just turn them off because they go off when I'm in the middle of something else. Anyway, I digress. This is the message from your Divine Masculine today. Is to trust that he knows that you are his family. You are his soul family. You are his soul. And in order for him to see this more and more and more, he's got to be continuing to heal the karmic bonds with his family, with his karmic family. And that's what he's working on right now. That's, again, why we have, so many of us find ourselves incommunicado with our counterparts, because again, there's such deep, intense healing happening in the counterparts that to be in physical there's a word for this, physical vicinity, thank you, to be in any physical vicinity of each other would amplify it all the more, right? Because we would get caught up in this whole cycle of, perpetuating the crap. When instead, if we are with ourselves and doing our own work on ourselves, we don't have someone else's energy in our vicinity, in our space to trigger, to amplify, to rub this that we are going through, that we are growing through. So that said, dear Goddess, I'm going to kind of mix this up over here, and then this is our, well, sort of, I'm not even sure how I'm going to set this up so that we have clarity that this was for the goddesses, and this is from the Divine Masculine here, family card, and we had the numbers 3333, 717. At this, was it? No, it wasn't 33. It was 333. I'm like, I didn't make it to 3333. It was because 3333 was a number, another number recently that we had, and I even saw it last night, yesterday afternoon, last night, on a license plate. 4 3s. I was like, what? Say what? So really quick before we jump off of here, 333, and then I will share 717. Again, I share 717 all the time on my feed on Instagram at Healing Twin Flames. 333. Live your truths, right? You are a master in training. I want you to understand this, Goddess. If you have had some excruciating, traumatizing experiences here that have felt like you would never rise above them, never overcome them, you are an ascended master. You are at a high level of learning. That's why it may feel as though it's been so excruciating, been so hard in this life, because you signed up for the Ascended Masters program. Okay? Okay. So, accept it. Okay? And let's move forward as to where your power is. And right now, again, Goddess, it is about trusting in that flow, trusting your journey, allowing yourself to be guided right now, to have patience while the construction in the world is underway and this major shift is happening. It is about focusing on you. What attachments are you having that are what attachments are coming up that you have to certain aspects, to certain outcomes that you feel resistance to them becoming or coming into fruition. Look at the blocks, and then also allow yourself to get off the subject if you are unable to navigate through the construction zone of that vision, of the blocks in that vision, right? You can't quite, there are no guidelines on the road. Then get on another road for now. Get off that road, right? And by that I mean focus on something else. Pull off on a lookout point. That's what they have on the, right? When you're driving, it's time to pull off on a lookout point, Goddess. The construction's underway, let it be underway. You don't have power over that, but you do have power over the kind of journey that you have and the respect of what you're looking for, what you choose, the meaning you choose to give to the experience, right? Man. And just declaring, I trust, I surrender, I say yes. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Just listen to that intuition. no matter how crazy it sounds. That said, dear Goddess, I am here for you. I do offer one-on-one sessions, of course, and those are 30 minutes or 75-minute sessions. We can utilize the cards. I don't always use cards with clients. It just depends on the client, you know, and what questions you have, what challenges, that's what I like, the word I like to use, what challenges you bring, you know, where you are, what challenges you're in the midst of, meaning what opportunities for growth are you experiencing right now in your journey. And we look for and we find your power in those so that you can continue to rise and thrive. And today being Thankful to Thrive Thursday, well, it's all about rising and thriving, Goddess. It's time to take flight. I said my Pegasus. That said, Goddess, I will again post the 333 on my Instagram, and there is already, of course, 1111, 717. They're on there. They're on there. Yeah. That said, I appreciate you. I remind you that the power is in your hands. It is. Even if they might be breaking out with hand eczema. Power's still in your hands. It's about you knowing that it is. Because that power has always been inside you. Namaste.